Good morning. Good morning. It is day 10. Good morning. Uh-oh. I am doing way too much this morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, I have my phone sitting on the button. Okay, there we go. Good morning. It is Sunday morning. It is the Sabbath day. It is the day that the Lord has made. We have to rejoice and be glad in it. We are on our 28-day journey of accountability. Today is day 10. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Iris. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. Good morning, Marquita. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. Today is day 10. It is Sunday. And yes, we said 28 days of accountability. That means the weekends too, Saturdays and Sundays, right? And if you are going to church, you should already be up. You should be getting ready so that way you can go and give God some praise and some glory and some thanksgiving for allowing you to see another day. And He's going to help you accomplish the goals that you wrote down. You know, we're going to definitely need His assistance, right? Whenever we commit our minds to doing something, you know that old devil always pops his head in. So we are going to need God's assistance in order for us to be able to accomplish those goals. Good morning, Miss Daniela. Thank you so much for joining. I love you, sweetie. Yes, so as everyone comes on in, I ask you to like, to love, and to share. We want to make sure that this message is delivered to everyone that it is intended to be. So that way we can make sure everyone begins to be accountable, responsible, and feel like they are achieving the goals and feel like they are accomplishing their mission and they are on their purpose, right? We want to make sure that everyone knows what their purpose is in life, what it is that God wants them to do. And in order for us to know that, we have to have a plan of action. We have to seek Him. We have to seek His face. Good morning, Miss Tiffany. Good morning, Miss Boyd. Thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate you. I ask that if this is your first time, you continue to come back. We have 18 more days to go. And at the end of that 18 days, I know that there will be some testimonies, some confirmation, some things that have shifted and changed in your life. Good morning, son. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate everyone. So for those of you, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, I ask that you like, love, and share the video. We're going to go ahead and get started because today is Sunday and I know some of us have to get to maybe 8 o'clock service. I know I have to get to Sunday school that starts at 9. So good morning, Miss Carol, all the way from Mississippi. For those of you all who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Ebony Moncho, and I am a motivational speaker, an accountability coach, and the CEO of 360 HR Solutions. I teach entrepreneurs, leaders, and influencers all over the world how to build success. And I do that by helping them to create structure, to develop processes, and to implement solutions that are sustainable. So today is day 10, and we are talking about getting organized and being consistent. The last previous days, we've talked of learning. We've learned what our goals are, why we need to set goals. We talked about a method in order to set our goals. We even had a new introduction to the SMART goal method, SMART squared. So if you want to know what SMART squared is, go back and listen to the video from yesterday because we added a twist to just the normal acronym of SMART. It was SMART squared. And that thing is going to change your life. So if you missed it yesterday, make sure you either go back on Facebook Live and watch it, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and you can find all of the days there. That way you don't have to scroll down my timeline. But today we'll be talking about getting organized and being consistent. So how many people that is watching today, how many people are striving for a more balanced life? I just want you to say that's me, or put the little, that little emoji that has a hand. Put the hand up if that's you. If you are striving for a more balanced life, I want you to put the hand up or put a heart up, or just say, girl, that's me. Let me know that I'm not in this thing alone. Who else is striving for a more balanced life? Let me know if you're striving for a more balanced life. Go ahead and type on there right now, girl, that's me, or put a thumbs up, put the little hand emoji, the little emoji where you cover up your face, because sometimes it's like, oh Lord, that's me, so I totally understand. Yes, we are all striving for a more balanced life. I know I am. That work-life balance can get off. It can be troublesome. It can cause us some stress, so we all need a more balanced life. And if that's you, if you are looking for a more balanced life, then getting organized is your best friend. Organization is your best friend if you are looking for a more balanced life. We have to look at getting organized as a mindset instead of a way of living. A mindset. Getting organized is a mindset that must be cultivated. That means that you have to grow it. And how do we grow things? Plants just don't automatically appear. It takes time. It takes energy. It takes love. Plants, if they don't have enough sunlight, if you don't give them food, if you don't water them, then they don't grow. And organization is the same way. You have to water it. You have to feed it. You have to make sure that it's getting the sunlight. We have to make sure that we are putting the same energy and effort into organization as we do the other areas of our lives. So it must be cultivated. It's a mindset. I want you to get that. I want you to understand. We don't just wake up with organization. Some of us do. Some of us are just innately an organized individual because we have that small case of OCD. I know that's me. Everything has to be in its proper place. It has to be systemized. I'm going to create a system for everything. Growing up, my friend Christian, who is on the line, used to always say to me when we were in high school that, girl, why 1 + 1 just can't equal 2 for you? No, because I have to understand what's behind it, because I have to organize that thing in my mind so I can compartmentalize everything. So in order for me to progress, in order for me to be successful, I have to my mind has, look, you know what? If you've ever been in the container store, you'll see that they have small size containers. They have medium, they have large, they have extra large. And my mind is filled with little small containers. That's because that's how I keep myself organized. I have a little small container for everything. So that's why 1 + 1 could never equal 2 for me, because I have to understand what's behind the 1, what's behind the plus, and what's behind the equal sign. So I ask a lot of questions so I can really, really understand what's going on. And then I compartmentalize that thing so I can organize and develop a system. But that takes time, and we all can get there. You can get there. You just have to put in the energy, put in the work in order to become that organized individual. And once you do, you'll understand and you'll see the shift in your life. You'll see that you'll have a more balanced life. Now, getting organized does require you to have some sound judgment on whether or not a task should go on top of your priority list or on the bottom, and then you have to know why. So it is important for us to prioritize things, because sometimes we have things in the wrong order of priority. The things that should be first are last, and the things that should be last, sometimes we have them first. So we need to sit down, in our quiet time when we are in our periods of trying to hear from God. We have all of our tasks, we have all of our priorities listed, and we want to make sure that in those moments we are asking God to let us know, what order should I do this thing? Right? How should I prioritize my life so that way I can yield produce, right? We want to be trees that are growing and that are producing fruit. That's what the Bible says, that our trees are supposed to produce fruit. And in order for them to produce fruit, we have to prioritize our lives correctly. So we want to make sure that is how we get organized too. Sound judgment on our priority list, right? So put things in their proper perspective and in their proper order. And it also requires you to have some attention and monitoring. In order to be organized, we have to pay attention and we have to monitor our list every day. Now, there are 3 benefits of being organized. I hope you came prepared today with your pens and your papers, because you know that we are always going to leave some tips and some tools for you. So I hope you came prepared. I know it's early. I know it's Sunday morning, but I hope you came prepared to receive, and you have your pen and your paper ready, the notes on your phone. There are 3 benefits of getting organized, right? Of being organized. Number 1, it saves time. When we are organized, it saves us time. How many people out there have done double work before? Because you did it, you did it in your mind. It's like, I know I did that. Or, you know what, I know I put these keys right here, but we can't find them. We can't locate where those keys are. We can't locate, that work that we performed already. So now we have to go back and do that thing over. And then a week later, you stumble across it. Like, I knew I did that. So, but when we are organized, it saves us time, which means we then have more time for ourselves. I know that, being a mother, being a wife, being a student, having my own business, my time is stretched thin. I don't have much time for Ebony, but when you are organized, you are able to plan and plot out time just for you. The next benefit of being organized is that it saves you energy. Right? It saves you energy. You're not feeling rushed. How many people feel like you are running around like a chicken with your head cut off, right? I'm sure you've heard that statement before. We feel like we are like chickens running around with our head cut off, meaning we don't know which way we going, how we going, where we going, how we going to get there, the who, what, when, where, and why of life. We have no clue. We're just running around, just lost, right? And when we are not organized, that's how it is. Our life feels chaotic. So when we get organized, it saves us energy and effort. And you know what? When you are fasting like we're doing right now, you need all of that extra energy. You need that to keep you going every day. You don't have time to be spending on frivolous things, right? We need to make sure that we have all the energy so that way we can keep going every day. So get organized so you can have more energy for yourself. And then the last benefit of being organized, it saves brain power. It saves brain power. And actually, that is the purpose of organization. If you ever wanted to know the purpose of being organized, that purpose is that it saves you brain power. It gets you into a pattern so that you can do most of your routine activities without expending a lot of mental energy. right? Because once we have a pattern, then that becomes a habit, that becomes a ritual, that becomes a part of our everyday lives. And you just get up and you do it like clockwork. You don't even have to think about it, right? That's just like if you get up in the morning already and your routine is I get up, I pray, and then I take my vitamins, I shower, if that is your routine, you don't even have to think about that right now. You just get up and you automatically go in that specific order. That's what you do. You're the type of person that, you have to sit on the side of the bed for 15 minutes before you actually get out of the bed. Then that is going to happen every day. If your routine is that after work every day, you come home, you cook dinner, you help your kids with their homework, then you go to the gym. If that's your routine, you're going to do that automatically every day because it has become a part of your life. You don't even have to think about it anymore. That's just like your route to work. You can get in your car sometimes and your mind will be somewhere else. And I don't know if this has happened to anybody else, but I know for a fact that it has happened to me. You will get in your car and you will look up and you will be at work. And you will be like, now, how did I get here? It's like you are on autopilot because you already know the route to work. You've driven it over and over and over again. And that's how organization is in your life. Once we are able to get the tools and the tips that's needed to be organized, it will become just like that, just like your ride to work. You will be able to make moves in life. You will be able to do the things that you need to without even thinking about it. It is going to happen automatically. Now, the flip side of being organized, right? Because we can be organized, but if we're not consistent with it, then, oh boy, you're going to find yourself starting over and over and over again. You're going to find yourself learning the same thing, doing the same thing, learning the same task. And we don't want to continue to learn lessons over and over again. My mama used to tell me, Ebony, why is it that every lesson you learn in life, you have to pay for? You shouldn't have to pay for every lesson that you learn in life. Some things you should learn just because you've already did it. You've already went down that road one time. And other lessons you should learn because you saw somebody else go through it. So you shouldn't have to experience that yourself. You shouldn't have to pay. Every lesson shouldn't be a bought lesson. So I'm teaching you today about being organized and being consistent. That way you don't have to buy that lesson, right? So being consistent, Anthony Robbins left a quote for us, and he said, it's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, but it's what we do consistently. So we can't just think that if we do it one time that our lives are going to change. No, you have to do that thing every day. You have to practice. You have to get it ingrained in your system, ingrained in your mind, ingrained in your heart. You have to be consistent. If you go to the gym once a week and then in 30 days you look in the mirror and you don't see that your body has changed, your body is not going to change if you've only been to the gym 4 times in a month. It takes consistency. You have to go to the gym every day, each and every day. And then you will start to see a change, a metamorphosis, a transformation will then happen. We must be consistent. Type, if you're listening, if you agree, type, I must be consistent. I must be consistent because I want to make sure that we are all in this thing together. I must be consistent. Now, consistency is important to your personal life and it's important to your professional life, right? We have to be consistent in not just our personal lives, but in our in our professional lives as well. My coach Jay Slaughter and Daniela can attest, and Tamara, they're on the line. They can attest. She says all the time, what you do, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. She says it all the time. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So that means that if you, the way you show up in your life on the personal side, you're going to bring that same person. I'm going to bring Ebony everywhere I go. So if Ebony is not consistent over here, then Ebony is not going to be consistent over there. It is impossible because I'm bringing Ebony. Ebony is showing up, and a lot of times we are able to send our representatives. We're able to send our avatars, but that doesn't last long. How many people started a relationship before with someone, and when you started that relationship, you was like, oh my God, he or she is the bomb. Oh my God, I found my mate. I found my soulmate. I found my boo, my king, my queen. You are saying that. And then 90 days later, you wake up and you look and like, who is this? Who is this? You have no clue, because that whole time it was their avatar. It was their representative. You know, they were putting on a facade. So that's how it is with being consistent, right? The more we are consistent, the more we show up as the same person every day, no matter where you meet me. You can meet me at the grocery store, at church, at work. You're going to come in contact with the same Ebony. And that's how we want to be. We want to be the same person every day, all day. Now, the strategy for making sure that we are achieving lasting greatness in pretty much every area of our lives, because that's what consistency is. It is the strategy, right? It's the strategy for making sure. Consistency is the strategy. I'm going to say it again. Consistency is the strategy for making sure that we have lasting greatness in pretty much every area of our lives. So that's in your body, in your business, in your relationships, in your mind, and in your spirit. If we are consistent, then we will have lasting greatness in each of those areas, right? Now, what it requires, because you know, consistency does require some things from us. It requires us to be committed to ourselves, right? We have to be committed to ourselves and to a sustained effort of action. That means that whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish is going to require action from us. We can't just speak consistency. It's something that we have to actually do. So you have to figure out what it is that you're trying to accomplish, so that way you can figure out what actions you need to take in order to accomplish that thing. And once you determine the actions, then you start to do those things each and every day. If I'm trying to strengthen my prayer life, then that means I have to figure out a time that I'm going to pray, and every day I have to pray at that time. You know, if you are taking birth control, I don't know how many women out there ever took birth control, and then you look up one day, you open up the pack, and you have 5 straight days still in the pack. I know that happened to me. I was like, oh my God, I forgot. I missed 5 days because I didn't have a plan. I wasn't consistent with taking my pills. So that happens in every area of our lives. And what being consistent essentially means, it means that you are going to keep your word to yourself, not to me, not to the next person, not to your spouse, but you are keeping your word to yourself. And then when you do that, then you are able to get other people to then follow through with what you want them to do for you, because they're saying, people that you're asking to do things for you, what they're saying is that, how do you expect me to follow through on what you want me to do for you? But when I'm standing back, I'm looking at you And every goal that you set for yourself, you are not accomplishing that. You are not remaining consistent to who you say you are. So you have to show up and show people that I am who I say I am. And the way you do that is by making sure that the same person show up each and every day. Now, consistency is all about the ability to be dependable, reliable, and responsible. I want you to write that down. Consistency is about being dependable, reliable, and responsible for your choices, your decisions, and your actions. And I know that's a hard pill for some of us to swallow. It's hard for us to be dependable and reliable and responsible to our choices, our decisions, and our actions, because that means that there are some people out there that we got to go back and we say that we have to say I'm sorry to. Or you know what I learned this morning? We're not sorry. We're supposed to say I apologize, right? There are some people out there that we have to apologize to. There are some wrongs that we have to make right. So, and that's that's a part of being consistent. We have to be responsible for our actions. And that is one area. Being consistent is one area that all of us struggle with when we're trying to improve. Because see, the devil knows that if we become consistent in our lives, then we are going to change, right? Our lives are going to change, and he don't want that. He doesn't want us to be on the right trajectory towards success. So he wants to put every type of landmine that we talked about before in our way, so that way we don't become successful. And you know what, y'all? Sometimes, and we just have to be honest, right? Sometimes our behavior and our words are not consistent with each other. And if that's you, just say ouch. It's okay. Just say ouch. Because I know sometimes for me, my behavior and my words do not align with each other. But I thank God for grace and mercy and for a second chance to get things right. So that way I can make sure that the things that I say align with my behavior, right? That is important. That is very important. So therefore, it essentially, right, just comes down, right? Ouch, right, Terrell? Ouch. Sometimes my behavior don't line up with my words. I promise you, y'all. So it is essential, y'all, for us to hold ourselves accountable. We have to hold ourselves accountable for our daily choices we make without any excuses and without no complaints. We have to hold ourselves accountable without any excuses and without any complaints. You and you are alone are accountable for what you do. You and you alone are accountable for what you are not successful at doing. So consistency is all about repetition, repeating the same actions over and over and over again. So that way it becomes a habit and a ritual. 3 quick reasons, and then we're out of here. 3 quick reasons on why consistency is important. You got your pens, you got your pads ready. 3 quick reasons on why consistency is important. The first one is it builds 3 things. It builds accountability. Consistency builds accountability, right? You are making a personal choice to rise above your circumstances and demonstrate ownership. That's what accountability is. It's making a personal choice to rise above your circumstances and demonstrate ownership for the result that you're trying to receive, right? And when we are personally accountable, we take ownership of all of the situations that we are involved in. We see them through from the beginning to the end. We take responsibility for what happens, whether it's good or whether it's bad. And then guess what, y'all? We don't blame other people if something doesn't go the way we think it should go. Instead, we do our best to make it right. Because there are times when things go wrong in our lives, we try to find every person to make the excuse for. You know what? That was so-and-so fault. That was so-and-so fault. You know, we don't take responsibility for our own actions. So being consistent requires you to build it requires you to understand that you have to build accountability. The next thing it does, it builds discipline. When you are consistent, it builds discipline. That means it demands for you to stay vigilant. It demands for you to stay vigilant. It demands for you to be mindful. It demands for you to be present at all times, mentally present, physically present, spiritually present, emotionally present. It demands for you to be present. And lastly, it demands that you are focused. So that's what consistency does. It builds accountability. It builds discipline. And lastly, it builds personal growth. We started out this morning talking about who wants that balanced life, who wants to continue to grow. If you're looking to continue to grow, this is the way. So accountability, it changes your actions so that you can lead and you can see improvements over an extended period of time. And who don't want to see improvements over an extended period of time, right? It gives you the ability to not just pull out your American Express Black Card, but when we are consistent, we can pull out that personal growth credit card. On the front, it will have your name and personal growth, right? And on the back, it says credibility, respect, and influence. On your new credit card, forget your American Express Black Card, right? You want to have a credit card says that is stamped, signed, sealed, and delivered, that you have had personal growth. And on the back, it's going to show that you are now credible, you are respectful, you have respect, and that you are an influencer. You have influence. So who's ready to be on this journey of being organized? Who's ready to be consistent? I ask that you continue to join me each and every day on our journey of accountability, because that means that we are becoming a better version of ourselves. And as my coach would say at the end, yes, yes. One yes is saying that you agree. And the second yes is saying that you are going to pick it up and you are going to apply it, right? So yes, yes are the words. If you're ready to be organized and ready to be consistent, type I am ready. I'm ready for the journey. I'm ready for the battle. I'm ready for what's to come, because I already know what's to come is better than what's been, right? So I thank you all for joining each and every day. And if you want to read about somebody that was consistent in the Bible, I ask you to go back and read about Daniel. Go back and read the story of Daniel. He was consistent. And the one thing, I'm going to give you a clue, the one thing that he was consistent about was his prayer life. And you will see that he did not go without any turmoil. He didn't go without tragedy. He didn't go without, circumstances happening in his life. But he was consistent in his prayer life. So go back and read that story so that way you can get the motivation that you need to start out tomorrow consistent and start your journey of being organized. Thank you again for tuning in each and every morning at 7:30 on our 28 days of accountability. We have 18 days left to go. And for those of you all who don't know me and this is your first time for joining, I am Ebony Moncho, a motivational speaker, an accountability coach, and the CEO of 360 HR Solutions. I teach entrepreneurs, leaders, and influencers all over the world how to build success. That's what we're working on. We're working on building success. And I do that by teaching you how to create structure, develop processes, and implement solutions that are sustainable in your life. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 7:30.